Okay, for this project, I'm using Patton's metallic yarn. Now it's a 4-ply yarn. You don't have to use this. You can use any kind of 4-ply yarn that you have. Acrylic, like Red Heart or anything, whatever you have. This is actually like a nylon blend with some wool, but I just liked it because it's really shiny. It's really soft too. But again, if you don't have this, any 4-ply yarn will work. And then I'm using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. And then you're going to need some type of a button. I kind of have, it's a large button. I think it's about 1 1/4. Oops, sorry, or 1 1/2 maybe. Okay, now for mine, I actually already did my big piece right here. So I'm going to show you on a smaller scale. But you want to start off with a chain of 44. So 44 chains is what I started with for my big piece. And now you can actually do this any size that you want. It just needs to be done in multiples of 4. And this stitch is called the candy cover stitch. So multiples of 4, but if you want to do it the size I'm doing, I did 44. But I'm just showing you smaller. So, and then now you want to go ahead and start in the 4th stitch from the hook. And remember that we don't count the one that's on our hook. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 4th one, I'm going to put 4 double crochets all into the same stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I'm going to skip 3 stitches, skip, 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 and I'm going to single crochet into the next, like that. Now I'm going to do a chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to go back into that same stitch that I slip stitched into and do 4 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Kind of got to pull it back because sometimes the next stitch gets hidden. But again, we're going to skip the next 3. Skip, skip, skip. And then the next one, I'm going to single crochet. And then chain 2. And go back into the same stitch that I just single crocheted in and do 4 doubles. So this is kind of the repeat until you get to the end of the row. And there's 4. Now we want to skip 3 stitches again. Sometimes this one gets kind of tight, so you want to make sure you don't forget it. But there's 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet into the next. Chain 2, and then go back into the same stitch again and do 4 doubles. So you just want to repeat this pattern to the end of the row. And when you get to the end, you should have 4 stitches left, so you want to skip 3 again. You're just repeating the pattern, and go ahead and in the last stitch do your pattern where you single crochet, chain 2, and go back in and do 4 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, like that. So it looks something like that, only yours will be a lot longer. Okay, now this next row is the repeat row. This next row is what every row is going to be from now on. What you do is you start out with a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then turn. Now in the fourth chain of this chain 5, so this one right here, the fourth one, there'll be one left, but in the fourth one you put 4 double crochets in it. This part's kind of awkward, kind of holding it still, but 2, 3, and 4. Now what we do is we jump over to this chain 2 space. So what we're doing is we're skipping these 4 double crochet right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this chain 2 space is what we're going to do a single crochet. And then you chain 2 again. 1, 2. Go back into that same space and do 4 double crochets. So this is a really easy pattern. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then again, you just skip these 4 and you just jump over to the next chain 2 space right here and single crochet. Chain 2. Go back into the same space and do 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you just repeat this to the end. Jump over to the next chain 2 space right here. So that's skipping these 4 doubles. And single crochet right through the space. Chain 2. Go back in and do 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, jump over to the next chain 2 space and just repeat. And you want to do this all the way to the end of your row. Okay, when you get to your last spot here, you skip the 4 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there'll be this little space here. And that's where you want to go in is single crochet. Like that. And then stop there. That'll end that row. Now you start again with a chain 5 again. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And turn, and we're just repeating the previous row we just did. So what we do is we do 4 double crochets in the 4th chain of this chain 5. So go right into the 4th one and do your 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you jump over to your next chain 2 space, which is way over here, and single crochet, chain 2, go back into the same chain 2 space and do 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Jump over to the next chain 2 space right over here and repeat. Single crochet, chain 2, go back into the same space and do 4 doubles. And again, we're just going to repeat this to the end of the row. And when you come to the end here, you skip these 4, 4, and then there'll be this little space on the end. You just go through and single crochet, and that will end that row. Then you chain 5 and turn, and you start again, and you just keep repeating that row back and forth until you get as many rows as you want. I did 22 rows is what you want to do. And then I'm going to sew it together. And how I'm going to sew it together is, show you real quick. If you look at the edges, there's a straight edge. Put it to the straight edge, like where we started. Put it to your left, like here. So actually, when you pull this top down, it's kind of the wavy, pointy edge. You don't have to do it that way, but that's just the way I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to do is fold them up, fold it up like this. And these sides are going to get folded and sewed. I'm not going all the way to the top. Just like leave about an inch here before I start sewing on both sides, like that. And then this top will fold over, kind of like an envelope. And I'll put a button on it. But sewing this, I'm actually going to sew it with a yarn needle. I'm not going to use slip stitch or anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of yarn and put it on my yarn needle. Sorry, I never really noticed this yarn. It's kind of dark, I guess. Hopefully you can see it okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and I'm going to make this about an inch or so higher. So, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just start sewing it right about here. So there's this little bitty space in between the point. And I'm just going to use my yarn needle and sew it up as neatly as I can. Like this. And when I get done, I'll flip it inside out so you won't see the seam. But I'm not going to go over. I'm going to go back and forth like this. And then I'm going to go from this side to this side. And then this side to this side. I'm kind of doing it as neatly as I can. I'm not going like real far down in there. I'm just keeping it at the edge here. And I suppose if you wanted to like just slip stitch this down, you could. I just thought this was a little easier. So you just keep doing this until you get all the way down. And you want to do it till you get all the way down here to the end. And then you'll just do the same thing on this side. Started at about the same spot. You started the other one. And sew it the same way all the way down. Okay, once you get it sewed up on both sides here, and again I apologize, it's kind of hard to see, but then you just want to flip it inside out or right side out, or so the seam's kind of hidden on the other side. Okay, so now you can't even see the seam. I got a couple tails to hide, and then you can pull this down and it'll be the flap. But now I'm going to sew my button on, and you can decide where you want to put it. Probably use one of these holes just to put it through. So if you want it to be at this bottom hole or up higher, that's completely up to you. Probably make it go up to this hole. But anyways, you just measure, kind of set it there, and then you just sew it on here. And I'm going to sew it on just like you would a regular button. But I'm going to use my yarn needle and some yarn. I'm just going to take it and sew it on. Just till I feel like it's tight and then it's not going to come undone. And then I'll just hide these tails. I like to put a couple knots in it too. Probably not supposed to do that. I know, no knots in crochet, but I do. I don't always follow the rules. Get it on there real tight, and then I kind of just weave these tails in and clip them off. Okay, and I'm going to bring it down and use the hole that I picked out here to button it. And like that. And now I'm going to put a handle on it, so I'm going to set this to the side. Okay, for the handle, you can use any kind of handle you want. You can just make one as long as you want, like at a single crochet or double crochet. You can put 2 handles on it, whatever you want. I actually have this necklace I got, and I actually got this at Walmart in the clearance aisle, I think, so you could probably find the exact same one that I have right now. All it is a bunch of beads hooked together. And I'm just going to sew it on and use it as a handle, because I like to use necklaces, handles, and stuff. And how I'm going to do that is, I'm going to lay it out here. I'm going to be sewing it right in here on the inside. So I'm going to kind of put it in here a little bit like that. And I'm just going to use my yarn needle and the same color of yarn to sew it on. I'm going to open this up so I can work with it better. So I'm going to kind of, right here in the corner where the flap would start to fold, I'm going to take one end of my necklace and stick it in here, and I'm going to go down about 1 inch with it. And I'm going to hold it there, and I'm going to sew it around the necklace. And I'm going to do that until I feel like it's really secure. And I'm going to go like through each set of beads. And by all means you can make a handle. You don't have to do this. It's actually, if you wanted to use a thread and needle too instead of yarn, you could just sew it by the loop here if you wanted to. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I feel like it's on really secure. Until I know that it's not going to fall off. And I'm going to do this to both sides. I'm going to do it both the same. And it'll take me a little bit to get it really secure and try to get the yarn not, try to make my stitches not real noticeable. That's all there is to it. It's really easy to sew it on. That's how I do it anyways. If you know another way to do it though, by all means, whatever's easiest for you. So I'm going to keep going at this, and then I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing until I get my handle on really secure. Okay, that's it. Once you get your handle sewed on, if you made a handle, if you crocheted one, you just sew it on the same way right here with your yarn needle and your yarn, and that's it. It's a cute little bag. That's all there is to it. It's really pretty easy. It didn't even take me but a few hours. So if you make this or anything else that you crochet, I'd really like to see a picture of it. You can post it on the Bagoday Crochet Facebook page. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. And please don't forget to check out my other tutorials. I have a whole bunch of them. And until next time, have a good day.